Thanks again for stopping by. Today is part 2 of the 4-part series of all the gear that I like to take with me on my backpacking trips. So hopefully you can learn something from it and become more adventure dumb like me. Check it out. Alright, so in this video I want to show you my camp setup. Basically my little house, my little tent, my little home away from home when I'm in the woods, alright? All the stuff that I use to keep me comfortable, to chill by the fire, little chairs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to kind of go over it, why I feel it's important, and why it is worth its weight in gold, alright? So check this out. I'm also repping my little Snickers shirt. He is in the Adventure Dumb logo. If you look, he's a little wiener dog that's behind me when I'm hiking in the graphic there. Hello, dears. Hello. That's you. It's you on there. That's you. Oh, thanks, buddy. Oh, okay. Let's build a tent. We're gonna build a tent. Let's build a tent. Just a disclaimer. I'm just some dumb guy on YouTube. You probably already know that, so don't listen to or do anything that I say, because I'm an idiot. So, thanks. Practice putting your tent up and down. Just try it. Just get used to it. You don't want to be out in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, and the first time that you actually are putting up your tent, you know, you need it, and you know, you're struggling or you're not sure what goes where. You'll have a routine of doing all this stuff the more that you do it, especially if you're out on the trail. You're gonna have to do this every day, you know, maybe multiple times a day, depending if you like, you know, you go on a long hike and you're like, oh, I'm gonna take a little break, I'm gonna set up camp and just kind of chill out for 5 hours. You can do that. You can do like whatever you want out there. There's no rules. The more that you familiarize yourself with your gear, the more fun you're gonna have. So just don't be afraid of your gear. Like, just figure out how to use it properly. It's one way to prevent having a bad backing trip. Oh, it's the title. I came back. Oh. You gotta be self-sufficient, people. Even if you're with other people, nobody wants to be helping you out every night, learning how to use your gear. You gotta figure it out yourself before you get on the trail. It's the most important thing. All right, first thing you need, your footprint. All right. This is called a footprint. You're like, that doesn't look like a footprint, Eric. Guess what? It is. This is gonna go on the very bottom of your tent. It's gonna go on the ground. So you're gonna lay that on the ground. So before you lay that on the ground, what you want to do is you want to look out for deadfall. What is deadfall? Deadfall is dead trees that have fallen over, that are dead, that are on other trees. So now they're just a dead tree kind of hanging onto like a live tree, and like their dead branches can fall down and kill you. And that's bad. So you want to look out for deadfall if you're going to camp under a tree or try to find shade, which I recommend you find some shade, because you don't want to have like the sun beating down on you in the morning when you wake up and you're like dying and you feel like you're, you know, giving birth to yourself, and it's just crazy. So just don't do that. What you want to do is find level ground first, right? Look out for deadfall, any dead trees that are hanging out and just hanging there. Be aware of that. And then also you want to find level ground because you don't want to be sleeping on an angle. Like, even if you're sleeping like with your feet down, you're like, oh, it's not bad. You'll end up like sliding down throughout the night and eventually be like in the bottom of your tent, like curled up in a ball in the fetal position. It's not fun. And you just want to sleep on a level ground, just like in your bed. You don't like sleep on angles in your bed, right? You know, that's, most people don't. Unless you're like, have one of those like old people beds that like, you know, move up and down or something. I don't know. But don't do that. So you want to just find level ground, find a shaded area that is not under a tree that has deadfall. So I was in the redwood forest a few years back, and we were setting up camp, and there happened to be an area that was perfectly level and nice, and no one was over there. The reason they weren't over there is because this giant redwood that was massive, it was dead. And what had happened was the tree, while we're setting up, actually ended up falling down and crashed. And it was insane. It was huge. It was the biggest, like, people were setting up their tent and were like, oh my God, was there an explosion? Earthquake? What happened? No, a giant, like 10,000 ton, like, tree just crashed to the ground. So thankfully there's no one underneath there, because you probably wouldn't live from that, and that would suck. That would not be a fun trip. That would be a dead trip. So you want to find level ground, find a shaded area, and then also look out for deadfall. Look up, right? Look up, check it out, assess the area. And typically when you're camping too, you have to be a certain yardage. I believe it's 50 yards away from any kind of water. So make sure you do that as well. You know, check your local listings for further instructions and rules. But I'm pretty sure that's it. So now you got your little footprint right here. That's down, right? Put it further back so you can see a little bit better. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to get your actual tent. Here's my tent. It's right here. Super lightweight. Doesn't weigh that much. Sorry. Most tents today are like this. They're very, very light. This is a 3-season tent, so fall, spring, summer. You can probably do a little bit of winter, but that really just depends on like what kind of clothes. I wouldn't rely on your tent to like keep you warm. Your clothes are gonna keep you warm, so that's more important than your tent. So, bottom of this tent is the thickest part of the tent. You'll see it right here, right? So that's gonna go down. All right, so now you got your footprint and you got your tent just laying there. Now, typically if it's windy or something like that, which I have experienced before, you're gonna wanna like stake your footprint in the ground, get it nice and tight, because else it'll just blow around. It's not, typically if it's not a windy day, you can get away with it, but I have been in situations where it's like super crazy windy, where it was like, and like everything was just flying around. Like you had to like put the stakes in before you got everything up, just to keep everything down, right? So I won't do that now, because I'll put holes in my ground and in my floor. My neighbors hate me already for yelling and doing YouTube and whatnot. So I'm not gonna put stakes in the ground right now, but put your footprint down, then put your tent down, and then get your tent poles. Now you notice all of my gear comes in these little individual stuff sacks. That's what these are. These are all stuff sacks. Stuff sacks for this, stuff sacks for your tent, stuff sacks for pretty much everything. I like to bring stuff sacks because it keeps me organized. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to bring a stuff sack because it weighs like 0.2 ounces and it's heavy. Whatever. I don't care. It's a little heavier. My pack's a little heavier. Put in the work to get to where I want to go, to enjoy the stuff and make sure I keep it organized. It's worth the effort to me. So what I typically do is I put my tent stakes inside my tent pole bag. So it's all together. Everybody's got a little buddy system. I will also keep my tent poles and my tent and everything. All this stuff is really important, so I don't want to have it on the outside of my bag. I did a hike once. It was actually during the John Muir trail that I did, and the first like 3 days or something, we were only 3 or 4 days on the trail, and my buddy was like trying to set up his tent, and he's like, "You see my tent poles?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen them." He's like, "Did you see them anywhere?" I'm like, "No." And he lost his tent poles. He had them on the outside of his pack, and they jiggled loose or whatever. It was in his little stuff sack, but I think he had it on the outside of his pack, and for whatever reason, something happened, and they fell out. I keep all this stuff always in my bag, so if anything, it's lost in my bag somewhere, but I always have it, because if you lose these, you have to do what we did and hike back to a town to buy a new tent. And that was like a good 15 miles or something out of the way that we didn't really anticipate doing, but that's what you have to do if you're in the middle of nowhere. and I wasn't gonna have him bunk up with me. So, got your tent poles. All of these are pretty much Adventure Dumb proof. They just kind of unravel. They all unravel themselves. Like this. Now you have a tent. This thing is pretty solid, pretty stable. There you go. There's a tent. It's all good to go. So all you gotta do is hang on to your tent now. No, just kidding. You don't. You have some more things that you need to do. All right? The next piece that I like to throw on my tent is a rain fly, which is also in my stuff sack that I keep my full tent. So what is a rain fly? It is an orange cape that you wear around the campsite to look like an idiot. Now, it is a covering that goes over your tent to prevent rain from getting in. Basically makes like your tent rain resistant. None of this stuff is waterproof. You're gonna get condensation. You're gonna get, if it's really, really raining hard, you can still get like, condensation and water kind of like on the inside of your tent. But this will definitely help prevent that. And these just go on pretty easily as well. I got your rain fly. You're all protected and cozy in there. I like to put all this stuff together first. Put my rain fly on. So you don't want to try to do this stuff when it's raining and windy and all that stuff, or lightning out. And you want to just be inside your tent and know that everything's going to stay dry and you're, safer and it's just better and cooler. So put your rain fly on first. There you go. And then after I get that stuff done, what I'll do is I put my mattress, my air mattress. Hey, what's an air mattress? This is an air mattress, and it's got its little stuff sack friend. Look at that. So there's all sorts of mattresses that you can buy. This one is a Sea to Summit. It's a blow up one. It's kind of a lighter version one. But the reason that you want to use these is that it insulates you from the ground. The ground is going to be cold and it's going to suck the heat out of you, right? You don't want that to happen if you're in your colder weather. You want to keep your warmth. So this is going to help prevent that. I'm going to blow this up and I'll be right back. Hey, I'm back. So this is the pad. This is what it looks like. It's all blown up. Pretty cool, huh? Looks like a Tempur-Pedic mattress kind of deal. These are also Adventure Dumb proof. Little blow up nozzle here. See, what happens if you open this up, you're like, oh no! Oh, there's no air coming out. It has this little like pressure nozzle, so you can like, when you blow in it, just lets the air in, it doesn't let it out. So, Adventure Dumb proof, Sea to Summit, a little sleeping pad, right? So then, take your sleeping pad. Alright, now it's in my tent. Now that's one layer down. I know I mention these stuff sacks a lot. People might be like, yeah, it might be obvious to some people, but the reason they call it a stuff sack is because you just take your stuff and you stuff it in the sack. There's no like, you don't have to like fold it a certain way or do something. You just take it and just cram it in the bag. That's why all this stuff is called stuff sacks. That's what it is. Just stuff it in the sack. Look at this. Just stuff it in the sack. Just stuff it in the sack. And then if it's a little harder to stuff, you just keep stuffing it. You stuff it and stuff it until it's stuffed in the stuff sack. And then it stays in its little home. Alright, so if anybody was wondering why they're called stuff sacks, I don't know why you would, but this is Adventure Dumb, so I want to just help the dumb people be less dumb so they're dumb like me and not just regular dumb. I don't take myself too serious, and I hope you don't either. So, thanks. And just like that, I have a sack full of stuff. Again, there you go. Next, got your sleeping bag. All right. This is a down sleeping bag from Sea to Summit. Not a sponsor yet. But this is like a 3-season, maybe 4-season sleeping bag. I typically will always bring this sleeping bag because it's the only one I have. And also, it's a good way to prevent myself from dying. All this stuff kind of just keeps you alive. That's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, that, you know, you don't really need much in life. You need food, shelter, water, and clothes, right? That's really it. And when you have those things, you're kind of reflecting on, like, man, I have so much crap at home that I don't need, I don't use. It's not really that important to me. And this is not one of those things. This is very important to me. If it's too hot, guess what? I open it up, I just sleep on top of it. Or I don't use it at all. I just put it on the side. It's fine. If it's too cold, though, this thing will save my life. I can, you know, I've been in weather that is extremely cold, you know, 20 degrees, 15 degrees. And it's like, I went camping in Havasu Falls one time, and it was freezing cold, absolutely freezing cold. And you think, oh, Havasu Falls, those waterfalls, blue water, we were like swimming around during the day. At night, it got freezing cold, like absolutely freezing cold. And like I said, the weather can change. When you're out in the middle of nowhere and there's not like a place you can just run to a warm place, like this is the warm place. Like these things are the things that are gonna help you and save your life, and also let you have a good time and not have to worry. Be like, I'm good, I'm in my little sleeping bag, I'm good, I'm all warm and cozy, and everyone else is freezing and stuff. So this is a 650 plus loft ultra dry down bag. So down is typically the kind of like the standard for sleeping bags. There is synthetic, but down has more insulation. It allows more air in between the feathers, which allows the heat to stay in there and allows you to stay warmer. So this is my bag. Pretty cool. It's orange inside. Oh my god, it matches my rainfly. So cool. Gotta color coordinate. Okay. Hey, couldn't help but notice you're watching my video. Thanks, I really appreciate that. That's so cool of you. Oh my god, you know what'd be cooler is if you went to my website and bought a shirt or a sweatshirt or a hat or a button or a patch or something like that to help support the channel. Yeah, you can go to adventuredumb.com. Just give it a little quick Google. It'll pop up. There's all sorts of neat stuff on there. Just winter, spring, summer, fall. We're doing all seasons over here. Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, all that stuff's around the corner. You know, gotta think ahead. You wanna be last minute, be like, oh, I didn't get anything. Oh, now's your chance. Just get them some Adventure Dumb stuff. What better way to show your support by making other people wear my dumb clothes? It's a win-win for everybody. Now the next thing I do after that is I got this little Coolmax thing. It's super cool. What it is, it's like a little, like lightweight, like silky almost, kind of like blankie, like a little blankie. What you can use this for is, it's like a little cocoon. You see this? It's like the thinnest sleeping bag you've ever seen in your life, right? Like really, really thin. So how you can use this is you can either just use this as a sleeping bag. Say it's like it ends up being hotter than you expected. You don't want to sleep in your sleeping bag. You can sleep on top of your sleeping bag and then use this. This will capture moisture, keep you from like sweating all over your sleeping bag and like making it all nasty and stuff. And also if it gets too cold, you can use this as another layer of insulation to keep you warm. So the more layers that you have in doing all this kind of stuff, the better that you are, because then you have options. The less layers you have, the less options. So just think of layers as options, and that's what you want to have. Just like in life, you know, variety is the spice of life, they say, right? Throw this in or on top of my sleeping bag. Okay, whew. It's getting warm in my apartment. It's like 85 today. Trying to not have the AC on so you don't hear it kick in and make all this noise. All right, next thing is, what is it? What is this? Also got the little Adventure Done proof blow up nozzle. Just pop one of the sides. It's a pillow. Look at that. It's a pillow. Yeah, it just blows up. Now, you may be like, why do I need a pillow? I just, roll up my shirt or whatever, or my underpants and just sleep on it. No. You want something that's designated as a pillow. This is way more comfortable than any of those other things that I just mentioned. So having something that is a designated pillow is just going to make your night way better. It's going to let you get some rest at night. You're not going to be tossing and turning. Same thing with the sleeping pad. You're not going to be tossing and turning all the time. It's just a better option. Yes, it's going to be a little bit heavier if you bring one in your pack, but just bring stuff that you enjoy that makes your trip better. Like at the most, it's going to add a couple more pounds. And if you're not willing to put in that work for a couple more pounds, I don't know what to tell you. Most people get hung up on all of this super ultra lightweight gear. It's made out of space paper, space bags, and then my pack weighs 3 pounds. But at the end of the day, they get to where they are and they are not comfortable, or they're cold, or they're like, hey man, can I borrow that? Can I do this? It's no, just bring stuff up. That's the other thing too. People don't understand that hiking up a mountain, it's hard. Even if you don't have anything on, just go hike up a mountain. Go walk. Here's an example. Go to your local gym, right? And go on a stair stepper and just do that for 8 hours. Do it for 8 hours. Just try it and just see how easy that is. Whether or not you have this stuff and all this other stuff. Then, if you go backpacking, you're gonna have things that are you're gonna have weight. Your body's not gonna be used to any of that weight. You're gonna have to get acclimated to that. Your body's gonna have to get used to carrying things on its back. It's gonna suck. It will be hard. When I went on one of my first hikes, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but also one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. So an extra couple pounds here doesn't matter to me. I know what I'm getting into, and I know that it's going to be difficult, but I'm willing to put the work in to accomplish that goal. And even though it's a little bit difficult, I know it's going to be difficult anyway. So it's all right, I might as well make it worth the effort instead of being up there and I'm sleeping in one of these tinfoil bags, and I'm eating just only dry food and all this crazy stuff. Just put the work in and have a better time. You're not gonna be going up a hill and being hey, this is so much fun, I'm skipping and blah blah blah. No, you're gonna be, elevation's gonna beat your butt. The air's thinner up there. You're not gonna be breathing the same. You're just gonna be slower, everything you do. So just take your time. Just chug along, keep on trucking, listen to some tunes. You'll be fine. You just have to realize that it's gonna be tough no matter what you do. So don't let all these YouTubers fool you that if you get this bag, it's gonna be easy. There's no quick fix. There's no magic pill or anything like that, which everything. There's always an easy way out that everybody tries to sell you on. No, backpacking's hard. It'll beat you up. At the end of the day, you'll be oh my God, what did I just do to myself? But then in the next morning, well, you'll probably still be oh my God, I still hurt. But nothing in life is free, right? So you have to kind of put in the work to get to those beautiful places. That's another reason why I love backpacking, is because even if you're an overlander and you like to go camping and you like to drive your car some cool places, all that's cool, but all the really cool places are the places you have to put the work in and you have to hike to. That's why when you go to a lot of these places, there's not many people around, or the people that do, that are around, you're like, yeah, dude, you know what's up, or like, yeah, lady, you know what's up. And I'll see grandmas out there. I'll see like old little ladies that are like, oh, I've been out here for a week by myself. Cool thing about them is that they have their stuff so dialed in, and they know what they need and how long they can go, and they take their time. They're not worried about like all this other stuff. They just like, they have it dialed in perfect. And there's a lot you can learn from people on the trail, and a lot of like-minded people as well. So that's another thing that makes me kind of like always kind of want to go out there and want to. It's like my people. I'm like, oh, cool. Like you kind of think like me. You have like same kind of like life goals. You know, about materialistic things. You wanna see beautiful things that the world has. You know, the best things in life are free, and that's the story of my pillow. The next thing I do is I set up my chair. Now this chair right here specifically is the bee's knees. This is the jam. This is what you want. If this thing weighed 20 pounds, I would still bring it up. It doesn't. It weighs like 1.5 pounds or something, which some people would be like, but it's not as light as the Helionox 5.0, whatever they call it. I just call it a little butterfly chair. Little butterfly chair is the bee's knees. It's the jam. It is the best chair as far as I'm concerned, and I'm going to show you why. Also, Adventure Dumb proof. Look at that. Bling. Pretty much like turns itself into a chair. You don't even have to do it. Do a little thing. So that's like your main structure here. Then you have another little piece in this bag. Just snaps together. These are like little. They all lock in together. They're all Adventure Dumb proof, right? And then you have the actual chair itself. So it's like only 3 pieces. Thing's still super light. And I'll show you why I think it's so cool. All right, just like that. You got yourself a little chair. Look at this. Beautiful little chair. So the reason this is such a cool chair is right here. You got these little nubs here. All right, one over here. And then you have this long bar. So what all these do is they keep the chair from sinking into the ground. So you could be on sand or loose dirt or gravel or whatever, and they'll basically just keep you level. Same with this, it'll kind of keep everything from sinking in. Whereas a lot of the other chairs on the market, I don't want to name any names, Helionox. So basically what the other chair does is it has these 2 forks. A lot of other chairs, they'll have like 2 little forks like this, and up here they'll have them like this too. And when you go on loose ground or gravel or anything like that, they sink in at different rates. So you're like, you're sitting all weird or goofy, or like the back is like this much down to the ground and the front legs are still up, or like it just, you have to adjust it, or you have to put rocks underneath the points of entry so that you don't sink in. This, you don't have to do that. And because of these little balls here, you can rock. You can rock in your chair. You can sit by the fire and just rock yourself. And it's fine. It's cool. The chair likes to do it. It promotes doing it. You just can't help but do it. And it's super comfortable. It's lower to the ground too, so you can have all of your cooking stuff, and it's right there. You're not having to like bend over and all that stuff. It's way lower, more low profile, and just a better functioning chair. So if you're in the market to get a chair, I highly, 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 highly recommend this over any other chair. No matter if it's made of graphite and made from space titanium and the best backpacker in the world or whatever like uses it, doesn't matter. This chair is awesome. So highly recommend it. See that? Just rocking away. Lean back. Lean back. Do the butterfly chair. Lean back. Right? Okay, I'm an idiot. So yeah, this chair is awesome. Look at that. Everything is, the ground is right here. I can grab stuff if I need to. I don't have to bend down. The reason why you're going to want to bring a chair is because at the end of the day, after hiking all day, 8 hours, thousands of feet of elevation, 20 miles, 15 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles, whatever you're doing, You're not gonna wanna sit on a rock or a log as much as you think that's what like you do when you're out there. Oh, like in the movies, you sit on a log and you sit around the fire. No, you want something that will support your back because you're gonna have stuff on your back all day. So you're gonna want you wanna take care of your back. Be nice to your back. You give your back a little love, So a chair is super duper important, and I will never go camping without one again, or backpacking without one again. It's just a deal breaker because I've done that before and it sucks. Literally just find stuff that you think is soft and it's not. Get a bunch of pine tree branches and stuff and stack them up, or try to lay on those or whatever. It doesn't work. Go to REI and be like, hey, where are your butterfly chairs? They'll probably know what you're talking about. And just get one of those. So this is basically the whole setup for my home. This is my little home away from home. That's where I chill. And yes, I know I'm camping in my living room. Tried to do this in Runyon Canyon a week ago, and there was people out. One guy was reading a book, some lady was sleeping next to me, and there was kids and stuff, and I was just this feels kind of weird. I don't feel like I should be here. I don't want to be like, hey, I'm on YouTube, check me out, this is my tent and all that stuff. So I don't want to be an asshole. Just because you're on YouTube doesn't give you carte blanche to just not read the room. You got to read the room a little bit, okay? That's why this room, I've read it, and it says, hey, put a tent up in it. Go camping in your living room. So that's what I'm doing. All right. Camping in my living room, cool. A little fort action. So another thing that I like to do is typically when I'm in my tent at night, I bring my backpack in here. So this thing it's wide enough to where I can fit my backpack right here. I'll have water in here, so if I'm thirsty, I can just grab my water bottle, drink that. I also put my shoes at the front of the tent. Usually, if it depends on what the weather is, but I just like to have my shoes inside too, so little rodents and stuff can get in there, or spiders or snakes or whatever. Try to keep all that stuff, all my important stuff in the tent. So my backpack, I don't want that to get wet or bitten up. There's a lot of mice and little stuff that will come and just chew your pack. So you have to be mindful of that as well. I'll usually clean my boots off, knock all the dirt off, put them in on the right side. So I always have my boots on the right side, my pack on the left. There's little pockets and stuff on the side here. You can put your phone in, and look, I found a little dog in here. There's a little animal. There's a little animal inside here. Stinky. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. So I usually keep my pack in here. I will also extend my rain fly, and what I do is I'll take my camp chair, and I'll take my camp chair and put it in, not in the tent, but under the rain fly, and then zip that up too. So everything is kind of protected and taken care of. It's not going to get wet. A lot of times if you leave your chair outside at camp, the dew in the morning will get your chair wet, and then you have to put that back in your pack. So then you end up putting wet stuff in your pack and get other stuff wet. So I always put my chair inside my rain tent, so it keeps it dry in case it does rain at night, which oftentimes it does. And then just way to prevent any more moisture or things from getting wet, and keep me dry and safe and happy and not grumpy on the trail. So, right, Stinky? Right? Oh, thanks for the kisses. Thanks for the little kisses. The little kisses. This guy gives all the kisses. You gave me a nice kiss here. You gave me a nice big bite kiss on my face last year. Didn't you? You little Hannibal Lecter. Little Hannibal Lecter. Look at little Hannibal Lecter. Oh, little guy. He's so cute. All right. So that's basically the inside of the tent. I'll show you kind of what it looks like here. So you got the sleeping pad, right? That goes down first. Then I got my sleeping bag. And inside the sleeping bag is my little Coolmax thing. And then you got your apparently deflated and popped pillow. So I need to get a new one of these because I guess there's a hole in it because it keeps losing air. So don't bring a broken pillow. Get one that inflates. This thing has lasted me quite a while, so I probably did it, you know, just while I was in my house. So, and they are durable, believe it or not, even though this is like broken now. But that's pretty much it. That's the tent setup. That's my dog. This is his face. Snickers has his own apparel. He's making moves out here, people. Snickers is making the big moves. So thanks again for stopping by, hanging out with me and Snicks. And if you're adventure dumb like us, we'll see you on the next one. Woo! If you're adventure dumb, we'll see you on the next ones. Woo! Adventure dumb. Like and subscribe.